Am I streaming? Am I live? Excellent connection. Oh, I appear to be live. Okay, usual checkup on the audio. Apologies, I believe my family's like really working on like coordinating like a food purchase right now, so if I have to like mute and like someone comes in or they're like, hey, help me carry the food, like that might happen. But I believe I have like an hour until it really should be underway. Okay, first audio checkup. I'll play a little of 115. Hey, what's up? I'm back. It's still going. Let's see how this goes. Because my audio changes like crazy all the time.
You see, in this game there are a few rules it's a good idea to keep to if you're looking to stay alive.
Okay, I need to talk while this is happening. I need to talk. I forgot that I need to talk while the audio is happening so that I can check that it is level.
So there was a man worked on.
Okay, I need to hide a little bit.
Let's call him Cook.
Thank you, Jonathan Sims. I clicked pause. Okay, there. The lag! Oh my god, the computer's lagging a little bit. Okay. Because my audio, for some reason, it either goes between, like, imperceptible, I don't know what the word's English, or, like, super duper loud, like, normal volume, the way I can hear it. So it's like, wow, this is inconvenient. I'm gonna higher it to 11 decibels. Let's see if that works. Okay, Jonathan Sims, keep talking. So, I'm talking over Jonathan Sims right now. Okay. I don't know, aside from that, I don't want to say anything while I'm testing the audio over it right now. Okay, let's see. There has to be a more efficient way of doing this. I don't know how to stream. Man, this always... Okay, fine. Jonathan Sims, you get a big, giant boost. 11 decibels, more like 13 decibels. Okay, it was audible before, and I guess I don't really want it to be too loud, so like, to encourage people to more so watch the actual live stream. Not live stream, actual video, actual podcast. In the description, if you notice, I added links to the Rusty Quill YouTube channel, the Rusty Quill website page for the Magnus Archives, and the Spotify series for Magnus Archives in descriptions of all of my past reactions, which is good, I think. I hope that helps. But aside from that, I guess I should do my little recap of last episode. I mean, I talked about it a lot, and it was just yesterday, so it wasn't like, it hasn't been like that long for me. But, I don't know. It was the Solesa episode. I kept calling him Decker, and I think I slipped up once and didn't correct it. The other times I did correct it. I just realized apparently the last episode was about Decker, and that's probably why I was, like, mixing it up in my brain. But, oh, that's funny. But aside from that, yeah, it was mostly about, he talked a little about how he got into the business, and then he just gave a story of how one of his ship employees, got meat addicted, and he had to kill them. And Meat Grinder, he didn't care, he's a businessman. But I did did not very much talk about, like, the very interesting thing, which was that he worked as an assistant to Jürgen Leitner, even though I think I mentioned it, and I think I paused, and... People? Nope, okay. I paused and then talked about it during the thing, and I was like, wow, crazy. But yeah, that's interesting. Everyone's connected, and it's cool to hear how people get into the entity business in general, like like climbing the ladder of supernatural dealing people. Like there's like, hey, I was an assistant to your enlightener. I got out before everyone got killed, and then I started my own business, but then I got, like, because of my knowledge of it, got sucked back into supernatural dealings. It's interesting. Oh, everyone knows each other. And I still, no, it wasn't Decker. It was, we did learn that Decker does dealings with the Institute, which is how they get the like artifact storage. I think that's what it's called. Like, not all of it probably, but like at least some of it, because they do investigations of the statements that they already get, like follow-up stuff. So there might have some of it might have come from there, but it seems like they do dealings. It's explicitly said that they do dealings, so that's cool to know. But also, I believe we got Gertrude was working with Decker. Did I call him Decker again? No, it's Salesa. I was talking about Salesa previously, but I know that Gertrude was working with Decker, I believe, too. He was the one who gave the... Okay, I need to get this straight in my head. He was the one who did the night, like, carbon dioxide death of statement, and then he was talking to Gertrude and something about, like, I moved the C4 for you, basically. Oh my god, where'd my headphone go? Okay, oh, there it is. But, yeah, I hope the audio works, and if not, then watch the actual episode, I guess. Yeah. Ooh. I just took my first shower after my haircut, and it's, like, weirdly straight at the bottom. Usually like it fluffier. Ugh. It's fine. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna be watching episode 116, which is The Show Must Go On. Ooh, I should do a little bit of a... I don't know what else I should say. I think I covered everything last time, and it hasn't been that long, but I should say that there's some nice people who commented on my last one, and I guess now I'm just gonna shout out every comment, because I don't get many comments, and the comments are always appreciated. There was someone named JMNLB B2L, I believe that's what it was. But they commented saying that was good to see you again, and thanking me because the reactions are limited, and I'm like, oh my god, thank you for sticking around after years and years and years. Like, reactions must be very limited in that sense. And also back to Weird Creature 963 for commenting again, saying yay, and thanking me for shouting them out last time. This keeps going. It'll never stop, apparently. But yeah, it's just now thank you to everyone who keeps watching, even though I'm so unreliable. And thank you for just loving the Magnus Archives, because I love the Magnus Archives, and it's very good. I think my stream, like, when I look at my OBS, it's, like, lagging a little bit, so I hope that calms down as it goes forward. I think it's syncing up again, so I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, go back to my live stream, and then I guess I'll move on to 116. The Show Must Go On. Statement of Abraham Jansen, incident occurring at the Court Theatre, Buda, October 1787. Statement taken, journal entry, dated 2nd November. So this theater will probably back onto the unknowing thing, and since the next, like, then these are, like, this is the last 4 episode stretch, I believe, 16, 17, 18, 9, no, 5 episode stretch. I said this last episode. But theater, just theater, when I think of theater, I think of unknowing, and the stranger. So it's like, ooh, relevance. That's what I put in my description. I'm like, theater? Okay. But yeah, I guess I'll just start the episode. And whenever I hear, oh my god, ads. Whenever I hear The Show Must Go On, I think of The Stranger, because it's like a performance type showmanship thing.
Get 10% off your
ads.
first purchase with code REBAG10. Or that 30-day risk-free trial, go to almost everything for an extra 20% off this Labor Day weekend. Whether you're on and off.
Wow, what
Saturday,
relevant
August
ads.
1st through Monday.
I'd just like to take a moment to thank some of our patrons.
Okay, Patreons.
Shiny Karen.
Oh, I wish it was me.
TK Karski, Richie O'Hara Beaumont, Malik Ibhais, everybody.
Oh my,
Cole
oh, my
Kettle,
encoding's overloading
Abigail
a little
Lewis,
bit. I hope it
Bradley
calms down.
Caton Anderson. Thank you all. We really appreciate your support. If you'd like to join them, go to www.patreon.com/Rusty Quill and take a look at our rewards.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna continue inking Ford. Just because I have nothing better to do, and it doesn't take much brain power. Oh my god, my encoding. You don't want to hear this.
The Magnus Archives. Episode 116. The show must go on.
Suspicious title. All of these are suspicious titles. I need to make sure not to hide my face with my bangs. I'm trying to be a good actor, even though I'm not really a good one. Okay.
Thank you all for coming.
Well, you said it was important.
Will Melanie not be joining us?
No, she won't.
They're so angry at him.
I suppose that's understandable.
What do you want to help?
They all went like,
You have your report running?
Of course she does.
He said, thank you all for coming, and he said,
Then I'll speak clearly. You will soon be attempting to stop something few have ever witnessed, and fewer still have survived.
Not alone.
We're
Working
think we're
together.
all going.
Yes. And I believe your plan, simplistic as it may be, does have a reasonable chance of working.
Let's
Well,
explode the
Sorry.
circus.
Did we? I thought we'd only actually got as far as. We sneak in, plant bombs when they're distracted,
Detonate
and
them when the ritual starts. They're
I feel like I'm learning too much right
I
now.
mean,
They're
got
just
some
being so
plans of the
explicit about it.
museum and the area around it, but yeah, that's it.
Should work. Doesn't need to be fancy.
Well, quite. But given
I'm
there
scared I
is
missed something by
likelihood
speaking
that
over it, but I think
vulnerable.
I don't know.
I mean, I've got some plans of the museum and the area around it, but yeah,
Museum area around it.
that's it.
Should work. Doesn't need to be fancy.
Well, quite.
I'm gonna go
But
like this,
given
so
there
I'm
is
not like
every likelihood that
hiding my
some or
face.
all of you might end up confronting the stranger in a rather direct manner, I thought it best you have an idea of what you might encounter.
Oh.
During the difficulties with your initial absence, John, I took Gertrude's tapes into my safekeeping.
Yes, I thought as much.
There is one, I feel, it may be wise for you to hear. All of you,
Oh,
if I may.
Case 7870211.
Oh, Gertrude.
Abraham Jansen.
well, just listening to it, that's
Incident
fine.
occurred in the Court Theatre, Buda, October 1787. Statement taken from journal entry dated the 2nd of November of that year. Committed to tape on the 4th of October 2013. Gertrude Robinson recording. Some months have passed now since the sights and sounds that excited in me that unknown and hideous mania, yet still my hand shakes in the writing of it, such that I can scarce understand myself the marks I leave upon the page. I would hold myself the most ill-used of men, were I not certain of others who left that theatre with wounds far graver.
God,
than
they're
a
so good at
tremor.
period writing.
I curse the name of Wolfgang von Kempelen and all his vile machinery, and there is no greater
Have we
hope
heard that
within
name
me
before?
than that I should never again be required to lay eyes upon the mechanical Turk.
Dark.
I have always refrained from writing of it, but some years ago, at its creation, Kempelen prevailed upon me to play the Turk myself. I agreed, considering it a grand old joke, and a worthy use of my aptitude for chess. And some aptitude I had indeed. In my youth I even played a match against Philidor himself, in old Slaughter's coffee shop, though he thrashed me soundly. Most who would dismiss the Turk as a simple ruse or deception would posit that only a child could have crawled inside the base of it. But
What
at
is a
almost
Turk?
half a century, I was quite delighted to work my way between the gears and play the venerable puppet master to Wolfgang's infamous chess-playing automaton.
Oh, so you
Most
you
who would
play it
discover
as
that a
in
human mind
you get into
directed
the suit.
Turk found that fact cause enough to dismiss the marvel of the thing. But to do so would have been a grave disservice to Kemperlen's singular skill. For though I may have chosen the movements and played the game that unfolded
giving
above
5
my
Nights at
head,
Freddy's.
the motions of the machine were the result of an ingenious array of gears and mechanisms that I could never hope
Don't get
to
spring
understand.
locked.
It was an astounding feat of engineering, even if the mind behind it could not be replicated by clockwork and springs.
No AI yet.
Not when it was first constructed. I must not, however,
Gain
allow my
sentience.
regard for Wolfgang's intellect to distort the most appalling horror that his creations precipitated upon that stage, nor to hide his complicity
lagging.
and guilt in what occurred. He was a strange man. For as long as I knew him, his manner caused me disquiet, and I attribute the continuation of our acquaintance in no small part to our difference in language. We had some commonality in French, but I often felt there to be much nuance in his words that was simply not conveyed between two men, neither of whom was speaking his mother tongue. Indeed, on some few occasions when I observed him conversing in Hungarian or German, the expressions I observed upon the faces of his interlocutors were invariably those of discomfort or alarm. Wolfgang von Kempelen had within him some
Unease lost in
strange dream, I think,
translation.
some secret ambition that might be glimpsed when his eye fell upon his automata, but it always eluded me.
Van Kemper.
Our initial meeting was civil, even pleasant. He had by then completed his construction of the Turk, and had requested several of his compatriots to seek out those who might have some small skill at the game of chess. I was at the time travelling in Austria, and introductions were made by a mutual acquaintance by the name of Langthorn. Wolfgang
Langthorn.
explained to me the concept, that I would be secreted within the base of the machine, and direct the
Oh,
figure
don't get
on
trapped
whose
in the
face was
machine.
taking place upon the table. I agreed almost immediately. Perhaps I would have had more reservations had I known the unveiling would take place before the Empress Maria Theresa, or if, when I agreed, I had actually laid my eyes upon the mechanical Turk. What description of it should I
Where does
give?
this take place? Empress?
Should I speak of its costume? The rich,
I know this is very
petulant
old.
colours lined with fine fur, or the dreadful stillness of its dark, shining face, the unmoving,
skipping.
painted eyes that met mine and could not see me recoil? The torso simply ended as it disappeared below the table, and when I held my nerve enough to climb into the tiny chamber below it, some small part of my soul cried out that I was devoured within the belly of the cruel device. Despite this, our exhibition to the Empress was a triumph, and I retreated from it both elated and utterly unsuspected. Indeed, such was the breadth of my success, it carried me through another year, travelling with Wolfgang and operating the Turk. I will not pretend that there was no joy to be had in my position, both displaying the marvellous engineering and using my own prowess at the game of chess to fool great crowds of onlookers. Yet even then, nothing could fully quiet that odd anxiety I felt when I looked upon the Turk, nor the strange and intricate dreams I had of it.
Uncanny
But
chess
eventually my
robot.
business in London required my return, and Wolfgang had other projects to which he wished to devote his attention, most notably a grotesque speaking machine that he insisted would someday be capable of mastering human speech. I saw many of his designs.
Do you think AI would be under the stranger these days?
The wooden box of valves and
No,
pipes, and that most grotesque mouth he had constructed, of some awful, undulating substance he claimed.
Sorry, I know we're talking about a gross-looking speaking machine with a mouth. But I cooked so good that I needed everyone to know that I'm eating. That I'm like, oh my god, AI, like uncanny AI creations, like nowadays, the stranger's winning. It's and like, I'm onto something. I see it. I know what I'm talking about. It totally would be, right? Okay, I know I'm right. Okay, let's continue. Gross speaking machine.
Derived from an Indian tree. To dissuade him from his conviction that it would someday be capable of rendering intelligible speech was impossible. But hearing the mournful wail that came from the spasmodic thing he called a mouth, I fervently prayed I would never have to be there when it did so. A prayer that went unanswered. Wolfgang von Kempelen and his automata were far from my mind when I received the invitation from him, some 15 or 16 years having passed since we had any cause to foregather. I was once again in Austria through coincidence, and received his letter in the dying days of summer, imploring me to attend a grand performance at the newly completed Court Theatre of Buda, many miles east in Budapest. It was not an insignificant journey from Vienna, but Wolfgang's letter pleaded that I be there. I was, so
It's a trap!
it would have me believe, indispensable in my attendance as the oldest friend of the Turk. This line, I will confess, filled me with an apprehension that bordered
That's a
almost on
sentient
its own deep
robot.
fear, though at the time I had no cause to heed such a feeling. My reason told me there was nothing to this but an oddly insistent invitation from an old friend, and I resolved to attend, if only to
That
conquer
robot
the
wants to eat you.
unaccountable terror that had taken residence within my heart. A terror I now know I should have heeded in every respect. I shall waste no time detailing my journey to Budapest, nor my numerous failures to locate Wolfgang once I arrived. I did make some small inquiries about the Court Theatre, and learnt something of its history, namely that it had formerly been a
Now we're at the
Carmelite
Court
monastery,
Theatre.
until Joseph
Monastery?
II had had it dissolved 3 years prior, and commissioned Kempelen to
Okay.
convert it into the city's first theatre. The cells had now been taken for the actors' dressing, and the crypt remade into a trap room beneath the stage, which had itself been placed where the high altar of the chapel once stood. Perhaps this should have stirred some further apprehension
I
within
mean, there's
me.
some stranger
But the changing fortunes of Eastern
association
churches
with
seemed
like
so
churches
far
and
away from
religion.
Wolfgang and his strange machines that I paid it hardly any mind. The date came at last, and it was with no small trepidation that I made my way to the Court Theatre of Buda. No tickets had been issued to me, nor had I seen any way in which they might have been acquired, but upon my approach I noted several other figures, finely garbed, making their way towards the theatre with expressions that mirrored my own. The doors of the theatre were open, and standing either side of each entrance were
So many
things that on first
other
appraisal appeared
invitees.
to be men. As I approached, however, I recognized the stiff motions and lifeless faces I had marked so sharply on the Turk. Dressed as gaudy footmen, automata silently gestured us inside with unnatural, jerky motions of their arms and heads, so violent that I would have thought it no surprise had they been hurled from their sockets. More were within, and I was struck by the absence of any flesh and blood ushers. Everywhere I turned, there seemed to be more ticking, whirring figures of clockwork, wood, and metal.
Oh, how steampunk.
Seeking some reassurance, I tried to make some comment to another guest beside me, but found a cruel brass hand, awful in its strength, gripping me by the shoulder and leading me away. I was walked to a balcony where I was, I supposed, to be seated. Fearful and confused, I acquiesced to the silent instructions of what I had begun to consider my captors. Even when other equally alarmed spectators were seated beside me, I refrained from addressing them, feeling as I did the unchanging faces of those mechanical beings staring down at me. Before each seat there stood a small metal cage, within which hung a minute mechanical bird, as might be used to delight children. But the angles of the creatures had been worked to a razor's sharpness, and there was something in the
Pointy
metal orbs
birds.
that stood for eyes that I could not bring myself to look at.
Mm.
The theatre fell silent.
Something in the
Every
holes.
seat filled with
that-
quiet watchers. Curious
I need some
as to what
clarification
might
on
be
that
about
eyes
to take
thing.
place, but dreading the stood for eyes that I could not bring myself to look at.
Repeat that?
The theatre fell silent. But the angles of the creatures had been worked to a razor's sharpness, and there was something in the metal orbs that stood for eyes that I could
Oh,
not bring
so
myself to
they
look
were.
at.
The eyes were like.
The theatre fell silent. Every seat
Scary.
filled with quiet watchers, curious as to what might be about to take place, but dreading the answer we were to receive. Then all eyes fell upon a figure in the centre of the stage, and I immediately recognized the mechanical Turk, sat at its false table. Its head raised itself slowly, shuddering from side to side, and looked out over the assembled crowd. Its coat was not as I had seen it, the fine fur now gone, and in its stead something hairy, coarse, and brown that hung loosely about its shoulders. There was a single nod, and a crack like brittle steel, and every false bird began to sing. It was not the gentle chimes of a hidden music box, rather the horrendous piping wail of creatures in pain, at such a pitch.
You know, I went to the Enchanted Tiki Room this summer.
No two birds could be anything but discordant.
That's actually true.
Had I dared raise an arm,
It was really
I would
good.
have covered my ears.
I got Dole
But
Whip.
I'm certain that would have been no protection. As the sound echoed through my skull, I saw the Turk lift something, inch by inch, over its head. A long, curved sword was gripped in its rigid fingers, the point aimed squarely at the chessboard and the table before it. The arm rose as the chirping intensified to a scream. Then came a single, swift, downward motion of such force that it pierced right through the wood.
I said
and
I
buried the
hate
blade
playing
deep into the
chess.
space beneath.
Um,
The birds ceased their infernal chorus for a long moment, as blood began to flow gently out from beneath the base, pooling under that device that had haunted my dreams for 15 years. Then they began again, louder and more furious than before. At this, the machine moved once more, faster now, and with a shaking and shuddering that did nothing to slow its motion. It placed something
oh my god,
upon
someone's in the
table.
chat. I never checked the chat. Oh my god, it's Weird Creature Person. Hello. Oh, the behind, so I have time before they hear this and see that I don't read chat and I'm very bad at it. Hello. They said thank you for shouting them out at the beginning again. The cycle will never end. I'm shouting you out right now. Yeah, okay, continuing. Well, I did want to pause anyway, and okay, they're probably going to continue, and something even crazier is going to happen and result from this board axing. Something even more disturbing has to happen at the climax. But right now, like, the first image that I was struck with was the tree on Hilltop Road, which doesn't make any sense because Hilltop Road is like fire, web, whatever. I still don't know what the hell happened in Hilltop Road with the tree and the box with the apple and the I don't know. I still have no clue. But I know we chopped down that tree and blood came out of it, didn't it? And what I'm hearing right now is that oh my god, is my encoding overloading like crazy right now. It is. I hope you can still hear me. Oh my god. Oh my god. I can see myself lagging like crazy on the screen. Anyway, what was, okay. Yeah, that's the first thing that came to mind, because right now we're axing a chessboard, which I believe is wooden. I think something about wood was said, and it's bleeding, but it could also be the implication that there is something living underneath the chessboard, underneath the table, or am I missing a description? I have no clue. But let's just keep going, see what's
Saw
happening
bellows,
here.
a wooden box, and a soft and hideous throat that seemed to twist and pucker on its own, shuddering
Repeat
that
that?
did nothing to slow its motion. It placed something upon the table. I saw bellows, a wooden box, and a soft and hideous throat that seemed to twist and pucker on
Bellows,
its
wooden
own.
box, throat.
Then the mechanical Turk did something that I do not believe will ever fully leave my thoughts, no matter how fervently I might wish it.
Having trouble picturing this.
It stood up.
Oh.
It had no legs,
Oh.
and made no secret of it. Yet still it stood, stepping away from the table that was its very being. And it began to dance. As it did
A lot of
so, the
dancing.
bellows left
That's
the
already
bleeding
associated
table started to
with
pump.
the
And I
stranger.
heard again that
Repeat
mournful
this.
wail
What are the
of
bellows
Moshe's
again?
table that was its very being. And it began to dance. As it did so, the bellows left upon the bleeding table started no secret of it. Yet still it stood, stepping away from the table that was its very being. And it began to dance. As it did so, the bellows left upon the bleeding table started to pump. And I heard again that mournful wail of Wolfgang's speech machine.
So yeah, the speech
As the
machine was on
end
the
of it
table. They
flailed
did describe the
and
gross
bulged,
mouth.
until at last it shrieked its words to the audience.
Oh, it speaks
I
now.
do not know what it said,
Foreshadowing.
but I thank Almighty God
They were
that
like,
I speak no Hungarian.
oh.
There
Oh,
was
we're in
then a
Hungary.
moment of
Makes sense.
absolute nothing,
We
wherein
were
I swear
in Hungary.
that none of us existed within the world. When I returned to being, the mouth upon the altar was speaking English,
Oh.
but I no longer understood it, and I cried to the jailer in a language all my own to let me out of my chair. But the chair was nothing but a stone, and his face was too much of skin not to scream. The wooden man in the seat next to me tried to seize my hand, but I no longer possessed any. So I curled my legs into a fist and struck it again and again, until my eyes were full of sweet sherry, and the part of me that sang no hymns bit down and choked upon the soft wood. I staggered, falling
my
up
brain!
onto the floor and opening it to a screaming clockwork heart that begged me to stop as I unscrewed it from its moorings and set it adrift upon the sky that dropped away before me.
Sky that
Nothing was anything, and nobody was what they did not
I'm-
pretend to be.
I believe
I
I'm supposed to be
desperately wished
confused.
to cry, but no longer had any understanding.
Oh,
of
I
what
have
a
no
tear
mouth and I must
was.
scream.
And then there came a noise I did know. Into the nothing that was everything came a thing that was most clearly a battle cry, though I did not understand the words of it, only the sense. I looked away to see inside a man who was a soldier. I was sure he was a soldier, and he was nothing but a soldier. His blades were blades and forged for killing, and his mouth was a mouth, and was made to order death. Beside him were 4 who were also soldiers, though their weeping eyes were empty sockets, and the captain led them by a rope around their necks. They dragged a thing that wasn't a thing, but instead a mouth upon a tree that hated the Turk and all it brought upon the world.
What's happening?
The soldier carved and cursed its way through a horde of vicious clockwork flesh men with faces
So
that cannot
soldier
not have been my
versus
father, and shouted
stranger
a command
robots.
to the sightless followers that even I understood to be an order of attack. They took the burning sun from their pockets and placed it upon the tree, and the mouth spat a curse so heavy it flew towards the altar and struck the Turk square in the chest. And in that moment everything was real once again. The sightless
Okay,
men and the
unreality
soldier in
ends.
his blooded uniform turned and dragged the cannon from the theatre, paying no mind to the carnage that surrounded them on every side, the limp and unmoving bodies of automata and patron alike, nor the destruction they had wrought upon the stage. The cries and pleading of the wounded and dying rose up like an awful chorus where before the air had been filled with the piping of metal birds. And God may damn me for a coward, but I ran.
No, that's good on you.
Final comments.
Please.
The stranger and its ritual have proved remarkably hardy in many
Okay.
ways, resistant to most of the standard interferences, and flexible in such a way that while the unknowing is relatively easy to delay, full disruption seems borderline impossible. And yet here we see what I assume to be an avatar of the slaughter and an
It's
almost
war,
fully
soldiers.
realized ritual with, if not ease, then at the very least, a direct simplicity.
Ended,
Perhaps
prevented, or
that's it.
stopped in the middle.
Could it be that
Let's just
the
shoot them
closer
all.
the stranger comes to emerging,
This is how
the more
Gertrude found it
damping
out.
the physical disruption
Like
to its focus
physical
becomes.
disruptions work. Let's
The
shoot
more
them all.
research is needed. But if that's true, then the task becomes at
Cannons,
once less
explosives.
complicated
Let's go.
and significantly harder. Disrupting the others
Good
has been
logical conclusion.
successful largely because I was able to do so before they had reached any form of culmination. And from the description of Abraham Jansen, I would not be confident enough in my senses to attempt something similar once the unknowing has become in earnest.
Your senses. Oh, I need to look
It
at the
would probably
transcript for
stand as
this.
a solid plan B at the very least. And I might make inquiries about getting my hands on some appropriate ordnance.
Explosives.
This
But that was plan
also
B.
confirms that they're still using that ancient
What was plan A?
skin as a focus item.
Ancient
If it wasn't
skin.
destroyed by
Because that's what the
cannon
automaton
fire,
was.
I imagine it will take some effort on my
Cannon
part to
fire.
do so. But I'm now sure I know where they're keeping it. And if I'm able to take care of it, that may buy
Pause.
me a reasonable amount
Pause.
of time to
Spotify
research
won't spot. Pause. Okay. Okay. Oh my god, my encoding overloads every single time I try to pause this video. Oh my god. You ever, any glasses wearers who wear headphones get like hurt by the headphone pressure? Oh, my hair. Oh, disgusting. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. Cause like it said something about the elegant furs. People are talking outside my room. Elegant furs of the automaton being replaced by something else, something weird, and I don't know the exact description was, but the first thing I got reminded of is he wearing the skin, the oldest skin in the world that they were talking about, with that shop that was like in like episode 1. Yeah, like that type beat. It seemed like it because they drew attention into it being skin-like. Maybe, or maybe that was on the... No, I think the thing on the table was the speaking machine. Okay. And the automaton thing got shot by a cannon, and the skin survived to the present day. Because this was a long time ago. 1700s? Yeah.
All I can say for sure is that when the unknowing begins, I certainly don't want to be inside it.
Blow it up and not go inside? We're gonna have to go inside, aren't we?
Right.
Thanks, Elias.
That's it then?
It's unlikely to be identical. The stranger is not known for its
Consistency.
But something like
I said
that.
the same word.
We can't trust what
Me and
we see.
Elias.
The familiar may seem strange, the strange familiar.
One lock.
Can't trust our senses.
But isn't... I thought that was what the stranger wants, you know, for us to doubt everything.
No one said it was going to be easy.
Brilliant.
I have been doing my best to
But like,
prepare
we
you
have to
for
doubt
jobs.
because reality, we are already
You can
doubting.
hopefully have it a bit easier than the others.
Another of my powers.
More
Focusing.
an aspect of your becoming.
You don't say.
Right.
Regardless,
Elias is like,
it
don't call them
should, you know,
powers.
give you an edge. Otherwise, I would never suggest you go yourself.
This episode will not pause. Because Elias is like, don't call them powers. This isn't a superhero show. You're becoming another being. Like, at least use the correct terminology. Let's not change the genre here. Okay. So John will have some resistance. The cycle continues, yes. I am live reacting to chat again. This is gonna be a delayed experience. It'll keep going. Okay.
About Martin.
About me.
He should stay behind.
What?
Really?
Why?
Too
Aw.
many people want to attract attention.
No. I can
Specifically
help.
Martin?
I've been reading the statements.
Quite right.
True.
Probably best he does stay behind.
What? So we have a backup if John doesn't make it.
I'm sure that won't be necessary.
What? No.
Martin, just... You can do more good
What
here.
did Tim sound like?
Go
Well,
around drinking tea until the world
John
ends,
might
or-
die.
You know it doesn't.
We hope.
Melanie's not coming either.
Oh, she, her?
I think
Cool.
she'll need you here.
Fine.
Glad that's sorted. Now, unless
Okay.
there's anything else.
Martin
Not,
stays. Reluctantly.
Excellent. Well, it's a 3-hour trip up to Great Yarmouth. I had Rosie book you all into a bed and breakfast near the museum.
Right.
Oh,
Thanks, Rosie.
John. Technically, I can't stop you, but I would heavily advise against bringing any rogue elements.
You can just say Tim.
I will take it under advisement.
Because of John's
Anyway,
resistance.
Don't worry about staying
And
in contact.
Gertrude saying,
I'll know when
no one
it's-
go in, please.
Naturally.
Oh, that reminds me. Make sure you keep
I
any
keep
receipts
missing
of elements.
certain
You
words.
can just say Tim.
I will...
Tim has
take it
good
under
motivation.
advisement.
Anyway, don't worry about staying in contact. I'll know when it starts.
Oh, he'll know.
Oh, that
Thanks,
reminds me.
Elias.
Make sure you keep any receipts for expenses, assuming you wish to claim them back.
And assuming we don't...
Company expenses.
Die. Yes.
Elias is like,
Die, I'm afraid you probably won't be able to claim your expenses.
Elias, shut up. There was like, also I'm running a company here, so keep track of your work expenses for me while you stop the apocalypse. He's what a boss he is, as in he is our boss.
If you'll excuse me.
Do you think he bought it?
We'll talk about it later.
I doubt there'll be time. We need to go.
It's fine. We've got this, okay?
You think he bought it? Oh,
Okay.
the British.
Come on.
Yeah. Sure.
It's not our only plan, or we have a separate plan
So,
also
he
going
doesn't want you
simultaneously.
And you? I would rather have you where I can see you.
Good.
You listen to the tape?
Yep. Sounds like fun.
Do I need to be worried about you?
You reading my mind again, boss?
I'm watching your face. Do you...
You're very on edge right
Are
now,
you going to keep it
and
together?
motivated.
Look, if you're worried I'm gonna go all red rum and start hacking at random waxworks, don't be. I'm not gonna give us away. I want this to work.
Thank you.
But I don't think it will. So, I'm gonna take that axe of yours, and when it all goes wrong, I'm going down swinging. And when I do, you better take the chance and stay out of my way.
Okay, just...
I have no mouth and I must scream. Oh my god, I watched one video essay about that book and I had nightmares for weeks. Even though, because I was in a bad headspace, I feel like any other month I would have watched that video, so I would have been like, oh my god, this book is so crazy, wacky. But specifically that month, I was not in the mood for horror, so it was very bad, very traumatizing. So yeah, okay. Tim and John go into the it was a wax museum, right? Tim found it. Tim's not very confident in this going well. Oh god. I would say foreshadowing, but more like implications of a suicide run. Okay, let's continue. Give me the end music.
The Magnus Archives is a podcast distributed by Rusty Quill and licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 4.0 international license. Today's episode was written by Jonathan Sims and directed by Alexander J. New. To subscribe,
Look up the transcript for this episode.
on our Patreon, visit rustyquill.com. Rate and review us online, tweet us at The Rusty Quill, visit us on Facebook or email us at mail@rustyquill.com. Join our communities on the forum via the website or on Reddit at r/.
I'll just read the summary and
Thanks for listening.
I've been interrupted by food. It's 5. It's not even 6 yet. My door's open. Forced to put my own drink in the freezer even though they were unpacking it on their own. I was like, can you put my drink in the freezer? And she's like, why do I have to do it? I'm like, you want me to walk downstairs for 1 minute and take the drinks that you're already taking out of the thing and to put my own one specifically in the freezer when you're right next to it and holding it. Okay. Ignore that. Oh. Glasses and headphones struggle. Thank you for the solidarity. Delayed experience. We're communicating 5 minutes apart. How fun. Okay, I'm back. To continue, what was I saying? be able to claim your expenses if you die. Thanks, Elias. I love Elias so much. He is so funny. Everything he says is unhinged and awful, and I love him. Everyone wants to kill him because he's a bitch. It's fantastic. What a lovely boss. I wouldn't have him any other way. But yeah, okay, I was about to go over. Where's my phone? Where'd it go? There's no way I placed it somewhere. I was just about to look up the actual... There it is. It was under my notebook. The actual summary of what happened this episode. Because I feel like I get the gist. Like, that the fact that when the crazy stuff started, the speaking box started playing, like, everything went crazy and they all lost all sense of touch with their bodies and reality, and they felt like they were twisting out of shape, and like different body parts felt not like their body parts, and it felt like different parts of themselves, you know. It like I got that. I think I got the vibe. Oh my god, my thing like starts lagging and encoding overloads every single time I go to the Spotify app, so that's fun. But yeah, statement summary. Elias called the staff, absent Tim and Melanie. Okay. It's like Elias knows that Tim shouldn't be there, or just in general knows that John should do this alone, but like, Elias is like, John, develop your powers and become something else. Like that's his big thing so far, and like, to like get John to like evolve. So it's like, and it might be that ulterior motive. It's like he knows that things will go wrong if someone else is there. And it's also the thing that where he's like, John, you have like a special resistance. And like Gertrude just said, I don't want to be there when it happens. So it's like a warning. And I know we don't trust Elias. Like he's threatening us. And he's like part of the big spooky man. But like we're also part of the big spooky man right now. So like he hasn't... he's blackmailing us basically with our lives, but it's like we have like a big issue right now, like stopping the apocalypse. But maybe there's gonna be an eye apocalypse, and we can see the bigger picture and see that he's a bad guy. But still, he's like helping us with the bad thing that is currently happening. Enemy of my enemy, also coworker of my coworker, who is working for the same goal right now. Even if there's like a further ulterior bad motive in the future. I don't know. Plan simplicity, blowing up the unknowing. Reasonable chance, Martin, questions if the plan is fully formed. We're gonna sneak in the museum and detonate the explosives. When the circuit's distracted, the ritual will be vulnerable. Lucia and Daisy say, yeah, it'll work, it's fine. This warns that they may end up confronting the stranger directly. Food interruption, yeah. I warned. I had a warning. Okay. Confronting the stranger directly, prepare them, and I says Gertrude's traits of like what kind of preparing you for what that experience will like kind of be like the sort of crazy, horrific, unreality bodily experience that you might encounter being part of this, like witnessing this ritual. Oh, there's more to talk about in terms of like the last ritual getting interrupted. Yeah, and he plays Gertrude's tape. Oh, Gertrude, she's back, yay! She kills. And she dies. Sorry. Who killed her? It was Elias. Yeah. He shot her in the head. Yeah. Elias love. Okay. Abraham Jensen. Jansen. Sorry. Event. Mentally scarred. The mechanical Turk. What's a Turk? I was like, a Turk as in something that is Turkish? Inhabitant of Turkey. A member of an ancient Central Asian people who spoke Turkish languages. A member of the ruling Muslim population of the Ottoman Empire. I think it just means something Turkish. Or, I guess. There's hair in my face. The Mechanical Turk. Like Turk as in just like the mechanical man. Does this take place in Turkey? What was this taking place again? I keep forgetting the country where this statement took place. He's a chess player. Be the puppet master. Cool. He worked with it. He was impressed by it. They spoke through like an intermediate language between both of them, even though he sensed that like I'm missing something about how off-putting this guy is based on how he converses with other people. Terrifying Turk. The eyes scary. It's always the eyes that make it uncanny, just like with anything else. Any other depiction of a human, it's always, if the eyes are wrong, everything's wrong. Devoured when he was climbed into it. FNAF vibes! Yay! You have travel. Still scared of it. Parted ways. Terrified of the machine that masters human speech. He said it looked terrifying and awful. And he was like, I never want to hear it when it speaks. I never want to hear it. And then later in the episode he hears it. That's a payoff. I should have expected that. Oh, my hair is so annoying. They really brought it with the horror in this one. I was very disturbed, confused. I was disoriented, like they wanted me to be. I guess it's the Hannibal watching that's desensitized me to like awful cannibalism, but like weird like sort of body horror, perception horror stuff is still. Okay. Received an invitation in the court theater of Buddha. Gives in. It was once a monastery, converted into theater under his supervision, because it needed to be a theater. I wonder what the whole thing with like places of worship and like these entities sort of connect in some ways. Jansen and under attendees entered. Everything was an automaton, all the ushers, scary. Frightened. Yeah, a bird before each seat. Enchanted tiki room, but scary. Draped in a hairy, coarse skin instead of a coat. All the skin. Okay. Yeah, it's a chess bot. I mean, I got that it was like a chess-playing automaton, but I was like, what, the word Turk specifically. I was like, is there a definition of the word Turk that I don't know? And it's like, I guess it's just a Turkish thingy. Oh, wait, what? A real one? Wait. It's real? The Mechanical Turk. The Turk, also known as the Mechanical Turk, and the oh my god, it's real! All of these, I should have known with, like, those previous references to historical figures that are included in these, like they were worshipping the entities, or they were part of the whole business. Like one of them was, like, a real, actual historical clown that was, like, I looked him up and he was, like, a real person, and it was, like, part of, like, Tim's scary backstory. There was, like, an actual real-life clown. I should have known that it was like, a real thing being incorporated. They love their history in the Magnus Archives, and they love making me Google things. Thank you for letting me know that. I thought it was just an invention that they made up. It was still horrifying, though. Elaborate illusion that created a human operator. Oh my god. That's cute. I'm looking at little pictures of it. Oh, I love performances. It's like a little guy inside of a little thingy. Oh, how quaint. It looks a lot cooler in this thing. The robot doesn't look that bad in these drawings. It just looks like a guy in a little fursuit. He's like made out of I don't know, but it's just the illustrations, so. But you could probably tell there was something supernatural about this one just by instinct. Also, robots are scary, I guess. I went to Disney. I already mentioned Disneyland like a million times because they have so many like animatronics and stuff. Like there's a theater in Disneyland that's like the booth. It's like there's a booth in front of it, like a ticket booth. And it's like an old timey theater, but there's a robot in there that's like a woman, like a blonde woman or something. Just a woman. A robot woman, and it's shut down. Like, it doesn't move, it doesn't talk, it doesn't do anything. It's like broken. I don't know if it's broken, but it just sits there and like stares ahead, and it's terrifying. And me and my sister didn't want to go near it. Some robots are scary when they don't move. Even facial animation didn't seem like a big thing back then. The Imagineers have got it down pat. Mechanical birds. I heard the screaming. Okay, sword slammed down the chessboard. It wasn't an axe, it was a sword. Okay, sorry. Blood began pooling on the stage, resembling a throat connected to a bellows. What's a bellows? I kept not knowing what that word meant. Bellows. Definition. A device with an airbag. Oh, it's one of these things that go like. Okay. Yeah, I could look it up. It's one of those. I just keep showing them on my phone. It's one of those things. Okay, so it's like pumping air into this scary, evil mouth. Makes sense. Me looking at Ticket Lady at Disneyland. Theater. I don't know if this is gonna show up at all. Found her! Picture. Lady. It looks more like a realistic lady, but she just sits there. She doesn't move. She doesn't move. She's just there. So this is what it looked like to us. Just like a lady sitting in a booth as we tried to walk in to watch Mickey Mouse. You've caught up. She does look cool. All the robots at Disney are cool. But like, it was just sitting there, you know? I think Disneyland's got it better than the 1700s robots, probably, though. Okay. Speech machine, shrieked Hungarian, complete mania, absolute nothingness, vanishing of his limbs, crying, sweet Sherry. What is Sherry? Is that like it's old-timey things. Wine. I guess. Moment ended at sound of battle cry. A bunch of soldiers burst into the theater. So this is very interesting. Maybe. Very interesting. This seems like the last attempt at the unknowing was stopped by the slaughter. And that's another drop in the bucket of these entities like warring with each other. We've already seen a lot of with the Hilltop Roadhouse, which is fire with Agnes and the Desolation versus the Spider with, I forgot the name of the guy who ran the house at Hilltop Road. Like, they feuded a lot, it seemed, and it ended with it burning down and a bunch of stuff happening. So it's another sense of, well, I mean, it seems like it's in the interest of any entity not to let another entity, like, take over the world. It's like, I mean, maybe in that sense we're all feuding, but maybe it also might be, it's not like every entity invaded this. It might be part of, like, it might hint at a deeper rivalry between, the Slaughter and, the Stranger. I don't know exactly why, though. Well, the Strange is about perception and, like, things familiar becoming unfamiliar. And the Slaughter is about senseless murder and violence. The constant beef between fears. They all beef. They hate each other. They are sitting at different tables in the lunchroom. Yeah, okay. But I know there's some alliances between certain guys like certain men, certain suspicious men, like coming together and like working together in some senses and having alliances, like us, the Magnus Institute and the Lonely. We have those like, but those just might be like functional alliances, like we don't know, like, but it does seem like certain ones get along better than others in a sense. But I do it would make sense that in certain circumstances we would all beef and hate each other and fight. I wouldn't expect any of us to have each other's backs in big scenarios. But you know, there's stronger ties and weaker ties and more hateful ties among different things. Okay. Soldiers burst into the soldiers weeping despite empty eye sockets. Ropes around their necks handled by their captain. I guess it's like a representation of how soldiers' lives are owned by like their superiors and they die for them. Cut down the clockwork people. Blind soldiers carried forth. Fired a cannon at the Turk. Explosives. And we're all cool now. Yeah, if they have some similarities. It does seem like there are some that are like natural enemies. Like, like we've said it before. I think pretty sure Elias has said the exact phrase, like, we are like natural opposites, the stranger and the eye, the beholding. Because they're literally just opposites. Like they hate each other. They want to die. They want to kill each other. They were just in conceptualization. They are opposites. To know and to unknow. So yeah. Gertrude remarks on the resilience of the stranger's ritual compared to other entities. Oh, that's what she was saying? Because we know she was traveling all around the world with Jerry, I'm gonna call him Jerry. She was traveling all around the world with him, and it seemed like and we sacrificed people along the way into a pit, into a hole, to stop the other entities' rituals. And so I think I don't know if it's been said exactly, but I know it's been implied that Gertrude has stopped many apocalypses by sacrificing people along the way. Jerry, my fave. Yeah, I miss him. Did we burn? It was the thing. We wanted to burn his page in the book and set him free. Did we do that? I don't even know exactly. I think we did. Oh yeah, we did. And we like just ran away before Julia and Trevor found out. Oh, miss him. He was just trying his best in his own emo way. His mom sucked. You know how it is. Looking through the transcript, that's like, perhaps I would have had more reservations had I known the unveiling would take place before the Empress Maria Theresa, or if when I agreed I had actually laid my eyes upon the mechanical turn. Oh yeah, I mean, she seemed like a reference to a political figure, and that's why I was like, this takes place in some country, and this is some historical reference I don't get. Maria Theresa, ruler of Habsburg, sovereign of Austria, Hungary, Croatia. She's the Empress, so I guess. The Holy Roman Empire? Oh, Holy Roman Empress. I was like, it's the 1700s, and I'm like, you're the Empress. I'm like, what are you, the Empress of the Ottoman Empire? And I'm like, I keep forgetting that, like, the Holy Roman Empire existed, like 300 years ago. It wasn't, like, 1,000 years ago. It was, like, not recent history, but still, like a couple generations above. Like, someone's, like, great-grandfather could have lived in the Holy Roman Empire or something. I keep forgetting that. I was like, when you're the Empress of something, I was like, what's the most recent empire to exist? The Ottoman Empire? But no, the Roman Empire. Okay, easy to delay. Other entities, Gertrude was talking about how yeah. I don't know how time works. I know nothing about history, so I was just like, old something. Okay, yeah. Gertrude says that while the stranger's ritual was easy to delay, full disruption seemed impossible, but the slaughter avatars, so that was an avatar. Well, everything that appears in like physical form as a person is an avatar in a way. Straightforward disruption of a fully realized ritual. Hey, maybe we can, if it's close to completion, we can just physically interrupt it with explosives. Viable plan B, and talks about acquiring the explosives. But she said plan B, so what was plan A? Another sacrifice? Oh, I know Michael was a sort of sacrifice of Gertrude's previous assistant, and it was some sort of, maybe it was another sort of delay for the unknowing, which makes sense. No spoilers. I already probably know this, but I wonder what plan A was, if this was plan B for her. But plan B is the only plan we know of. So did plan A not work? Did she try it and it didn't work? Or was plan A that sacrifice of Michael? The spiral. Yeah. I forgot. I mixed them up. It was the spiral. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Thank you for the reminder. Spiral and the stranger. Different guys. Yes. But I feel it seems like she always, like, 2 times we saw her, both the spiral and the ground one, the buried, she sacrificed people. So is plan A always a sacrifice? Or is that an extrapolation? I don't know. Don't tell me. Oh. Jonathan Sims, what's with all this history? In the middle of my horror podcast? Oh my god, they do so much research. I know I watch the Q&As and like they talk about how much research they do about all this stuff, and I'm like, Jonathan Sims sure loves history. Very impressive. I'm terrified though. Harry's skin in the Turk was the gorilla skin, still alive. Confirms its location. Ugh, do I need to like continue like in my brain to tracking where the gorilla skin went? Because it seems like she found its location, but I know at some point it was in the shop, and it was in multiple statements, and I know it's like they're not using it anymore. So I think she destroyed it, didn't she? The gorilla, she acquired it and destroyed it, and that's why they wanted John's skin. History nerd, and nobody's surprised. Writers, nerds, a lot of them. I believe she destroyed the gorilla skin, and that's why it's something. It's not. It's in the past. I'll maybe look it up later. I don't know, but I do remember that's why they were like Jonathan Sims skin, and they was like, "Oops, we didn't get it," and then now we're gonna use Gertrude's skin. Let's wear the archivist. So I know the gorilla skin, not viable anymore, but it was everywhere. It was everywhere. It was in that episode. It was in that episode. It was like, oh, whoa. Okay. Magnus Archives. It's always like this. She discusses it. Oh, the group discusses it. Absurdity. They can't trust their senses. Martin was like, but aren't they trying to make us doubt our senses? But it's like, it's already gonna be messed up, okay? Everything is everywhere in the Magnus Archives. Yeah, I'll track it down, maybe. Yeah, everything's connected. When I realized that, like, literal episode 1 was connected to, like, episode, like, frickin' 60 or something, I was done. As my whole life is over. I can never keep track of it. It's only the wiki for me. Okay. Martin stayed behind at the archives. How sweet. With Melanie, even though Martin wanted to be there. Oh, Martin. Eli says, don't bring Tim. And then John's like, okay. And then him and Tim talk, and then like, you're coming with me, right? And Tim's like, yeah, I'm coming with you. I'm gonna go crazy. Except I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm very headstrong and focused. But I may die. And I'm like, oh, okay. Elias exits Basir estimating staff if he bought the ruse. Mild spoilers and neuron activation I had was when I heard Jerry get name dropped in Mag 3 or 4. Yeah. Jerry was everywhere. He was everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. I think Hilltop Road was like the first. I don't know if that was the first no, it was the priest. It was the priest. The way that like the priest statement started like super early on, and then it continued like 30 episodes later. I was like, oh, what's going on? Okay. And the seer asks if Elias bought the ruse. So, it seems like we're lying to Elias in some way. I thought it was like we have a side plan to deal with Elias. That could still be the case, because we still want to deal with Elias. Like, people are still like, I hate Elias, I want to kill him, let's make a plan. But the way it's saying is like, did we directly lie to him during that conversation where we just told him how we were going to stop the annoying? Did we have a separate plan for how to stop the annoying? Did we just lie to him about not bringing Tim? I know it's going to be revealed. They're trying to keep it away from me. I'm the eye. I'm watching. They don't want me to hear because Elias is going to hear. Martin says, discuss it later. The tape is rolling. Nobody is listening. Okay. John informs Tim that despite Elias not wanting Tim to attend, John wants him to go. He questions Tim's stability. Tim responds he will keep it together for the mission, but when it goes awry, to stay out of his way. Revenge! Vengeance! Oh my god. Okay. Summary. Yeah, I think that was a good summary. They didn't, like, go into detail about, like, the things that I was, like, my brain was exploding with, like, the description of, like, the unreality portion. Like, we get it. Reality's not working. Little did they know we were listening the whole time. It's the more this keeps happening, the more it's, like, occurs to me that this seems like a very meta series, in the sense that the tapes that we're listening to imply that we are the eye, as in like we're the viewers watching on from another world, looking in on them, and who want to know everything. But like, I don't think that's plot. I don't think this is like a meta story. I think it's just like a fun meta side effect that they're like hinting at for fun. But yeah. So I went through the episode. Things make more sense now. They made sense in general, but I don't know what else this is gonna. I know we're gonna stop the annoying, but good to know that things are happening. Oh yeah, we set it up like at the end of the episode. Elias said, "Hey, Rosie booked hotels for you to head out there." I looked at the next episode. It's like a assorted archive staff heading for Yarmouth. Yarmouth? Is that how you say that? I don't know. Prior to departure. So we're heading out. Last 4 episodes. So that's what's coming up. I don't know about predictions. I don't know what else to say. Seems like some of us are staying behind and not going directly to the ritual, but Elias and Tim are the team. And we have a second plan that everyone is aware of. Some probably has something to do with Elias. Because Melanie really wanted to kill Elias, so I don't think she's given up on that. Thanks, Rosie. My favorite side character. She's did she speak once? I think she. Oh, do we just talk about her? I feel like I have a vague memory of her speaking once. But it's like, man, she's the best. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. I went through analyzing, sort of predicting things. How much does Rosie really know? She has her fingers in too many pies. She did when Elias got cops. Yeah. Yeah. I know we spoke to her. Oh, was it when the Elias did that statement before the cop showed up? Before John showed up. It may have been that episode. because I love that episode where like Elias like talks directly to John through a statement and then gives him a statement and then he shows up after. Oh, I got killed. That was really good. That was really cool. But I don't know. I just rambled about another episode. I don't even know if that's what she spoke. But yeah. I don't know exactly. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. We're just heading into the finale after this. So I don't know what else to say except recapping that we have a plan. We have like some semblance of what the unknowing could do to our brains now after this statement. We have 2 plans actually. One of them secret and I don't know it, and they're gonna surprise me with it in the finale. Dan and Tim are going. It doesn't spell well for them. Something crazy is going to happen. And everyone else is working on the second plan. I don't know what else to say. This episode was really cool, especially the inclusion of history, apparently. We have a lot of that. Oh, cool. You're probably watching Protocol, aren't you? I was trending on Tumblr. I saw it in my Bilford haze. So I know it's airing like right now, so no wonder people are getting into it again. So yeah, glad to sate this hunger for content. But yeah. Oh, what? Oh my god. I have that feeling all the time. I have 5 million like series that I'm watching where I'm like 10 episodes away from the ending, or I'm on the last season and I don't want to watch it because I don't want it to be over, and I get so stuck in my brain about making the ending special, that I never finish it. Me on the last season of Supernatural, I've seen like, what was it, 14 seasons of Supernatural, and I watched 1 episode of the last season and did not continue. But yeah. So yeah, I hope you finish it. Maybe I'll finish it. Maybe we'll finish it together. Who knows? Maybe in 2 years. But yeah. Oh my god. Okay, I don't know what else to say except that's what we're heading up to. I guess just general review of the episode. Episode great. Ooh, I'm pausing on my camera. Episode fantastic. It's been really, oh my god. Yeah, historical focused episode, really cool. Really cool imagery with automatons, we're like getting really steampunk. Really cool descriptions of that like perception nonsense. I love seeing more clashes between entities. I love this world and how they build it. I love like how they build like multiple occurrences of this like apocalyptic scenario. Hold you to that. Maybe I will finish the Magnus Archives within 3 billion years. But yeah. Yeah. Good episode. I just love the writing. All the characters are prepping. More epic Elias moments. The best man. The worst man. Love him. Continuing from that, yeah, really cool. The historical prose, I don't know how they write like this. I don't know how writers write in like historical dialogue senses. It's really, I'm like, oh, my brain, they're talking so old. Yeah, love the return of Gertrude. Yeah, love that steampunk robot energy. Love the disturbing picture of a mouth that was reoccurring. Yeah, I need to eat. Love Elias, he's the absolute worst. Perfect time frame. Yeah, but I do need to head out and eat. I might talk later. I might read through the transcript a little bit more about that final battle. Maybe a little bit, I don't know, just to pick up on the exact wording in case I missed something. But yeah, I'm gonna sign off in general. But I don't know how to. I've never streamed with such an active chat before, and it's one person. So yeah, bye. I'll do my outro. Signing off into the next dimension. Nobody will be there, and avoid mechanical men, but maybe not mechanical birds. They're kind of cool. Bye.